Greetings. I welcome you all, especially the newcomers today. We are a spiritual family, the regulars that come here twice a week. I want to try a little guided meditation now, rather than talking like I usually do. I want you to relax now. Feel the tension in your shoulders. Feel the tension in your back. Feel the tension in your arms and your hands. And consciously relax them. Now you can take 3 or 4 deep breaths. And on each out breath, relax again. Now, relax even more. Feel your body melting into the chair you're in, the bed you're in. You're drifting off, it seems, into sleep. But that's only your mind stopping. Keep going deeper. Go into the emptiness inside of you, however you experience it. Whether you would experience it as light or shadowy, dense or open, white or black. And try to feel also the energies inside that are almost always there. But people don't know how to perceive the energies. And if they do perceive them, they think nothing about them. These energies have various names, like Shakti, Kundalini, Chi. Each idea has the energies mean a different thing and flow in different ways. Kundalini flows up the spine. Shakti flows up the core. Chi is all over. Some say the energies circulate in meridians. But whatever it is, feel the energies. The ideas about them don't matter. The experience of them does matter, though. Because they can take you out of the mundane world. They can take you into the life force itself inside of you. The life force itself has a personality in each of us. It may seem impersonal, but it's a manifestation of God in us. And as such, we can relate to it. We can speak to it. We can ask for things. But you have to be able to feel it. The first step is feeling the emptiness inside of yourself. The emptiness is everywhere. Imagine yourself being in the middle of the desert. No city lights for 40 miles. And you look up and you see the Milky Way maybe for the first time in your life. It's very bold, very beautiful, very elegant, and it stretches from horizon to horizon. And you realize the vastness of the universe, of space. And sitting quietly, the thoughts leave your mind. And you enter the space, which is all around you, and cold and hard, like a hard vacuum. There's no room for thoughts in that space, that vacuum. No space for emotions. No space for tension felt in your body. Just rest in that emptiness for a minute. Feel what it's like. Then locate an area around your heart. And feel, if you can feel the Shakti there. Feeling at first like a little electric current, a spark. All you have to do is perceive it once, and thereafter you'll never be able to miss it. Ramada, when he has his death experience, felt his body die and thought to himself, he's going to be taken off over to the burning grounds and have the body die. Body burnt. But he says, what burns? The body burns. The sentience inside of our body, the awareness inside of our body is not material. It's totally different from the body. That doesn't burn. That isn't touched by flame or sword. So he thought that means the spirit inside of him is immortal because it couldn't be touched by death. So he said from that moment on, he was aware inside of him the sense of self, the I, the sense of being alive, the sense of being sentient, the sense of being aware. And he said, from that moment on, I knew I was deathless, immortal spirit. And I could never take my eyes off of it. After that, all the rest of my life, my attention was focused on that life force inside, that spirit inside. And that's what I want you to do. Be aware of the sentience inside of you, the watcher inside of you. the energies inside of you. And whatever comes up, don't react. If fear comes up, don't react. If joy comes up, don't react. But let it pass through your heart without hindrance. Become like a very open sieve and let the feeling go into your heart. And rather than just react, accept that feeling. Love that feeling. Love whatever comes up. And by lovingly hold those feelings in your heart, no matter what it is, sadness, fear, joy, love, just let it sit in your heart. This is the way you process feelings, so to speak. Where the sadness is inside your heart, you hold on to it, and you bring it closer to your core so that it's resting inside the heart of your heart. By allowing it to rest there, in your full attention in your heart, melts away and becomes bliss. Underneath all strong feelings, just a couple of feet under it, so to speak, there's a river of bliss, such that when the emotion melts, it's absorbed into you as a waterfall of bliss washing throughout your whole body, your whole core feels the bliss. Now, in that emptiness, feel around your heart. What do you feel? Do you feel any movements of energy? Do you just feel the emptiness? Do you feel the quietude around you? Do you feel love? The normal person that comes here feels the energies within themselves and around themselves and from me. This is natural. This shows you the way to God, because those energies are like an intermediary between your body and your spirit. They elevate you. They lift you out of the mundane world. They get rid of your thoughts about the mundane world, because you realize your thoughts are the enemy. Your thoughts are the mundane world. If you can reach out of your mundane world, the world around you, that you picture with four walls and a ceiling, while you're thinking of all the tasks you have to do the rest of the day, that's your prison. That's your prison. What am I going to do for supper? Do I have to go to the supermarket to get something? What about cleaning the house? What about the medications I have to give my cat? I gotta go to work tomorrow. Shit. Or I've got a vacation coming, yay. See how much you despise work? You're trapped in it. You need money for your rent, for food. You dream of retirement or escape somehow. But no matter where you escape to, there's always chores to be done. And this is how most people are all the time. They're in, how do I cope in the external world? But when your energy is focused inwards on yourself, on the void in you, on the emptiness in you, on the energies inside of you, until eventually you discover the life force as it explodes inside of you, revealing its hugeness, its vastness, as it rises in your gut with the light of 1,000 suns, expands into your heart, and then blows outward into the world from your head, lighting the whole universe. And you just want to laugh and say, I have come alive. Finally, I have come alive. What I have been waiting for my entire life, to escape the mundane world and find something else, is satisfied. You now know God inside of you. And then you realize, I'm knowing God, but I must be separate from God. And then you realize, you're the life force manifesting in that particular body. And through this manifest personal I, self, the Atman, you also know God, Brahman. Both are in you. You as Joe, Sally, Angela, Fred, Ben, Ed, and God, which is the full essence of the life force. The life force that's in us all over the world, every entity, from a worm and an insect to an elephant to a human being, has that same consciousness, that same spirit. All that differs is the equipment that it's born into, the limits of its eyesight if it has eyes, the limits of its hearing if it has ears, limits of its thinking if it can think. Now all of our lives, our attention is turned outwards into the world and coping in the world, a body in a world. And it's such a dreary existence because there's always something to be fixed. But if we turn our attention inwards and rest in that inner void, the vastness of space, everything passes through like a bank of clouds, ever changing, changing, changing. And eventually we learn that words don't mean anything. Eventually we see that the word I has nothing that points to inside. There's no entity called I, but there's God. And there's you as Atman, the sentient being. But this is different from the I that people say, when I do this, I do that. Then they're considering themselves to be a body with a mind. I do this, I do that, I am this, I am that. But there is no entity I. It's a null set. And when you see that I points to nothing or to emptiness, you begin to be free of all words, because you realize they're just words pointing at things that supposedly exist in the world. But they're generalizations. If instead of thinking, we open our eyes and our ears and see that's around us, you'll see the world without experience, without thought, without ideas, is very different than the world we perceive in everyday life. It's much more vivid. The colors are much more vivid. The vision is much more vivid. The sounds are more immediate. And it's always changing. Always changing. Little changes we would never notice in our chair if we just thought of it as a chair. It's always moving. The walls are always moving. If you look closely with no mind, you can see energy patterns in the wall that compose of the wall. You can see corpuscles of light that make up the space around you. And you're in a new universe, a new world, filled with pulsating and undulating light energy. Your body is invisible. You can just imagine where it is, but it's everywhere. There's no longer a boundary between you, inside your skin, and that which is outside the skin. An airplane flies over, and you are that airplane. You identify with it, flying through the sky. The wind blows through the trees, and you become the wind blowing through the trees with complete freedom. The world is much different without thought. You're no longer in the mundane world. You're in the world of magic, and on your way to being in the world of God, which is bliss, which is strong energies flowing inside of you, which is being able to manifest magic. The only thing is, you've been imprisoned in your body with a knowledge that's been passed on for generations about what life is all about, who we are, what we have to do. Language is just words. It cannot express truth, because the truth goes beyond the mind. The only truth is there is no truth. And beware even of this truth. It's just words, just concepts. And the real world is entirely beyond concepts. It's a world of magic, of energies, of love, of bliss. But we keep getting sucked back into the world of the manifest, depending on how busy we are. So we just have to learn to get back into the bliss as soon as possible. There's two worlds, the world of the manifest and the world of freedom of God. And once you've known the world of God, that's all you want to be. That's all the place you want to be. But the mundane world comes back and bites you on the ass. And you have to pay attention to it for a while. Ramana didn't pay any attention to it. He sat in the basement of a temple for 18 years, not moving, just lost in his own bliss and God. People fed him, but he was covered with dirt and sores because he wouldn't move. He was too ecstatic to move. And you can be that way too. But the world has to lose its importance to you for that to happen. So, let's sit in silence for a minute. Feel your own emptiness. See if you can perceive the energies in you. Because once you begin perceiving them, you'll feel them all over. Not only inside your body, but outside in the room around you, or the space around you. Going like winds. Sometimes cool winds, sometimes warm winds. But the winds penetrate everything. The energies penetrate everything. And fill the emptiness with life force, with awareness, with bliss. I tried to think up something to say today, but I was so lost in emptiness, my mind would not think. My body was too relaxed. The emptiness took everything away. So what to do? What to do? So I told you about my state. And maybe it helped you find a similar state inside of yourself. Or know that such a state exists. A state of happiness, of joy, of not worried about chores to do, but just being lost inside your own emptiness and bliss for 5 minutes or 10 minutes. To know that's the real you, not the learned you of conditioning and knowledge, but the you that's real and bears no resemblance to the world that we live in with the mind. This is how Robert can say, the world that you live in is illusory. It's all about words and concepts and permanence But the real world is fickle. It's transient. It's filled with energies, not objects. And they're always changing, 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 changing. The energies are everywhere. The walls are made up of energies. Your body is made up of energies, even though now you don't perceive the body, because you just perceive the emptiness and the energies flowing in the emptiness.